Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, March 2nd. You know what that means. There is going to be a weekly batch update tonight on the transcripts. And, of course, joining me this evening is my beautiful wife, Caitlin. Everyone say hi to Caitlin.
Hello, everybody.
And the bunny. Say hi to the bunny.
Oh, it's Easter. Easter decoration.
Just some reminders for those that will be joining us, that are with us right now. Let me go back to the live stream rules. Just remember that we're all going to be nice to each other, show respect to everybody in the chat. Always remember that my stream software is on a 2-minute delay as far as what I see for comments. I cannot promise that I will get to every question, but I will try. And, of course, I am not an all-seeing entity. I'm not omniscient. So unless you have an actual 846 code on your transcript, I can't tell you exactly when your refund would come, but I can provide you with the knowledge that I have as to things that can help you determine when you might receive it or why it might be delayed. The main goal of these streams is to provide answers that maybe the IRS will not or simply cannot, and to show that you are not alone. Pretty A in the house. How you doing? Glad I'm doing okay. Well, maybe we should, maybe I should address where I've been. So, we don't really have that many people in here yet. I'm showing 7, but I might as well talk about what's been going on the past couple weeks. So, Caitlin, I'm just going to take you down for a second while I talk to the audience. yeah, so I didn't stream last week. I haven't really posted any videos in the past couple weeks. And yeah, there was some issues going on. Our youngest son was very sick last week, so it was not exactly the best time to be streaming, which was in conjunction with some other stuff that was going along personally with me, as I had some issues with some comments in some of the videos I put up, and there was some not so nice comments directed towards me by a couple different commenters that the only way I can describe it is that they were kind of bullying, and they didn't hear what they wanted to hear, unfortunately. And I'm not going to lie and tell people information that's not true, so I'm not going to say to someone, for example, yeah, that 570 freeze code, you're going to get your refund tomorrow. I'm just not going to BS people and tell them something that's not true. So when they heard from me that the 570 meant their refund was frozen and they were delayed, they went off on me, told me I didn't know what I was talking about, and I'm lying, and blah, blah, blah. Made some very aggressive threats, which I reported to YouTube, and those comments were flagged and ultimately removed. That said, that's the type of stuff that really gets to me because I dedicate a lot of time to making my videos, responding to the comments in my videos, because I feel like the people that are watching these videos, they're looking for information, and it's really hard to get it from the official government agencies. And I'm in a position where I've had access to people in the know, people in the different agencies, 10 years of experience covering the IRS. I'm in a position where I can pass along a lot of this information to people, and I feel like people have a right to know it. So when I get attacked, it doesn't really it doesn't translate very well to me, because I'm investing a lot of my personal time in this. I'm already working multiple jobs. I'm a husband. I'm a father. And I spend a lot of my day trying to help people I have no idea who they are, strangers on the internet. I'm helping them work out their issues with trying to figure out things about their tax refund. And I'm not getting paid for that. I'm volunteering my time to people. So when someone attacks me over it because they're not hearing what they want to hear, I shut down. And combine that with, I've talked about this before, but my best friend died 2 years ago. My mother died a little over a year ago. I've been battling depression for a couple of years. So, the internet with someone that's already dealing with some grief and depression, it was time for me to take a step back. So, I took the needed time to myself and my family to just kind of reset and get back here clear-headed so I can help the people that really want the information, put out the people, just want to hear what they want to hear. So here I am, and here we are. Hi, Caitlin.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand. And tonight we will we'll answer some questions. Not going to be a super long stream, but like I said, we're expecting the updates tonight on transcripts. So hopefully a lot of the people that have been waiting for a couple weeks that are in that weekly 05 batch will be seeing an 846 at some point tomorrow. And I should have done a little more show prep on this, but the 846 would be a direct deposit date for next Wednesday, March 8th, which would also mean that on Saturday, this coming Saturday, if you were to see an 846 date on your transcript, your Where's My Refund will update. Dr. Carr, you have done an amazing job with all your accurate tax updates. Try not to worry about what negative people have to say. Give them no life. I appreciate all of your videos I found you last year. Thank you very much. It means a lot. Pretty A, I appreciate your help. Thanks for watching. Alright, so Angel. I did have the CTC credits, married filing jointly, February 4th. Are still being processed and transcripts say NA. For this year's taxes, no idea what's going on. Well, let's see, February 4th, so it's been over 3 weeks. Almost a month. Okay, so it's tough. When it's been that long, chances are it's probably... I mean, it could be a backlog, but typically, sometimes if the system flags something before it gets posted, it will get kicked over to the errors department. It could be kicked over to the verification department for ID verification. But certainly, Angel, if you haven't called the IRS yet, you'll want to call now. It's been a month. It's time to pick up that phone. Give them a call. So I would say tomorrow's definitely the deadline. If you don't have an update by tomorrow, because this is now, you know, the next update you would expect, if you were going to get one, would hopefully be tomorrow. And if you don't have one tomorrow, you got to call the IRS. That is on your transcripts. Update on your transcripts. And because chances are, if it is an ID verification, they can actually walk you through that. You can get that taken care of as soon as possible. And typically, if that's what it is, you'll get an update within a week or two. So it's a lot quicker if it's an ID verification. If there was something missing on your return that it got flagged for and got sent over to the errors department preemptively, then there's no saying how long it could be. But there was a handful of people that had NAs for a couple weeks this year, and it turned out to be the ID verification. Caitlin, did you have anything to add about my little spiel at the beginning of the video today?
About your break?
About my break, yeah.
It just makes me upset because you're one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life. That's why you're my husband, and it just hurts my heart too because you're so kind and you do so much for everyone. So I'm going to get emotional, but that's all I'm going to say about that. It made me upset. And everyone needs to take time to recharge, so it's just hard seeing you go through that.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, I mean, that would be my suggestion if you ever had, I mean, this was, I mean, you know, aside from the obvious, it was great to have a little break and recharge and not, I mean, I just cut off all social media. I got off Twitter, I got off Facebook, I got off YouTube. I just didn't pay attention to any of it for about a week and a half. So, and I think going forward, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'll still be uploading my videos and I'll still be responding to the comments when I can, but I'm not going to be going as hard as I was because, I mean, there was a period there for like 2 to 3 weeks where I was like spending, I think it's hard to quantify, guys, but some of my more popular videos, I mean, I get literally hundreds of comments a day and it's just a lot of people asking for help. And I feel like I almost feel obligated to help everybody. So there was like a 2-week span from like just before Path lifted this year until the week after, and I was just nonstop responding to comments to people. And I mean, I was at work on like lessons with students, scrolling through and responding to comments. I mean, I was like straight through. So sometimes you just gotta take a break, and it was a good break. And we are a little early tonight. We did, normally we do these streams at 9, but I thought 8 o'clock would be better for me and Caitlin so we can wrap it up earlier, get to bed earlier. And while I'm online, I'm going to check my so we have 14 people watching. And I'm going to do a like count, everybody, because there's 14 people watching.
I have 8.
You have 8. I have 14.
Oh, that's
I just refreshed. I have 14 likes. So we have the expected like count. We don't have the expected watch count. What comment count? Why isn't it? Why is everyone so quiet tonight? You know, I make my triumphant return to the live stream, and you know, nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to ask questions. I know there was people that have had some holds. I've been seeing the comments, even if I haven't responded to them all. I have been seeing the comments in the video the past couple days, some of the videos. Path Act holds are up. Wage and income verification is a reason that some things get held sometimes, and that's like one of the longer ones because the IRS waits for verification from employers or people that send the companies that send 1099s, and they match up what was sent to them with what's being reported by the comments are turned off. Not on my end. I hope you guys can comment. Oh, you know why? I think I have the delay. I think I put the delay so I could keep up with the comments. You can post a comment every. I think there's a 60-second delay. It makes it easier for me to comment. Annie, hello. So what was I saying? Oh, the wage and income verification. It's completely up to the employer, or like when they send those. I mean, they have to send them in by the April 15th deadline, but completely up to them to, if the IRS messages an employee and says, hey, we need this documentation from you. It's like whenever they happen to send it in. They don't really, they say, please return it within 60 days. So you literally could be held for up to 60 days if they're verifying your income. Katrina. Why is the IRS asking so many to verify, then waiting a month or more for the letter to arrive? They do this every year. They always post-date letters, and this is why I tell people it's important. When you get to if you update and you see a 570 code, you at that point you can certainly call the IRS on your transcript. If the delay is before your transcript's posted, in other words, you're just still like NA for weeks at a time, you can also call them. But definitely when you see the 570 code pop up on your return, you can call them. Because if it is for like an ID verification, you don't have to wait for the letter to do that. You can actually do that without having the letter. So it's quicker if you just call them. They can talk you through it. I think there's a way to do it online. Although I've had people tell me they've done it over the phone too, with the employee. If they ask for the control number, I'm assuming that's on the letter. Sometimes if the letter was generated, you can go into your IRS online account and go into the letters section and see if the letter was generated yet, and you can pull the control number off of there. But Kim Star, I'm glad you're okay. Yeah, I am glad I'm okay too. Going back to the letters, I had another viewer I did talk to yesterday that called and was able to verify with the employee over the phone. And they still hadn't received a letter yet. So somehow they were able to get an employee to help them. So I think sometimes it's just a matter of getting the right rep that is willing to assist you and dig a little deeper than other reps are. Just remember, a lot of times these reps, the way they're trained is to get to as many customers on the phone as possible, and they have a pretty set script that they stick to. But every now and then you can catch one of those really nice agents that will go above and beyond. Tanner, how's it going, Dana? It's going all right. It's going better. I received a 570 code, and I received a letter saying that 4464C, pretty much saying they're reviewing my account and it can take up to 60 days. Should I worry? It depends on what the review is for. If they're reviewing your wage and if you know that you reported everything accurately, you didn't miss anything, you know, all your numbers are correct on your W-2s or 1099s or whatever you issued to them, or if you claimed any sort of like deductions or itemized deductions and you have documentation for that stuff. As far as worrying about whether they're going to take your refund away or whatever, no need to worry. Should you worry that you might have to wait? That's a different story. I mean, it depends on what it's for and what they're looking at. That could determine how long it's going to take. I don't know what your tax situation is, particularly if there's like certain things you did, like itemized deductions. Those reviews always take a little bit longer. But if you like, as far as the worrying part, if you know you filed everything accurately, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. It's gonna work itself out, but it's gonna take time and patience because the IRS moves slowly, as many can attest to. Tanner hopes he gets the update Friday. Hopefully. When that 570 clears out, you would get the 571, followed by the 846. And like as I said, this goes back to what they're reviewing. I mean, if they're asking the employer for information, like if they need anything from you, they will send you a letter asking specifically what they want. But if they send a letter to an employer saying, please send X, all you can hope is that they do it promptly and they don't drag their feet with it. Or the employer's accountant or whoever, payroll department or whoever manages that stuff. That's the worst, is when you're at the mercy of like another party. Jaded Jump. How many days after it has been noted as sent should I expect a paper check? Generally speaking, when they send the check, they send the checks on Friday. You should have it. I mean, they tell you within 2 weeks. But generally speaking, most people have it by the end of the following week, by that following Friday or Saturday. In the past, it really depends on what hub the check was sent from. There's several hubs around the country. And where you are in relation to that hub, as far as like how long the postal service takes to deliver it. But typically, it's almost always within a week or so. Yours was sent on 2/27 on a Monday, or next Monday. That's interesting. That's the first time I've ever heard of a check being sent on a Monday. I've seen that before. I'll note that. Tanner wants everyone to get the likes up. I haven't done a like count, but 16 with 11 watching right now. Not a bad like count. And I'm sure those future viewers, future viewers, will like the video as well. Kim wants to know how long it takes for the state refund to come. That depends on your state. Every state manages their Department of Revenue a little differently. Some states won't process until after the IRS has already done processing a return because they want to match up what the IRS had on file. Some states process very quickly once someone has filed. We're in Massachusetts, and ours took roughly. I mean, we filed end of January, and we had our state within 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. which
yeah,
is...
Katrina C says I got my state 3 days after I filed.
Wow, Katrina coming in hot from Massachusetts. 3 days. That must be an all-time record for Massachusetts. I think the quickest that we've ever gotten our mass is like a week. But the longest was like probably last year. It was last year when I had to... the Massachusetts reviewed my deductions last year. And I keep very good records. So we were not seeing any movement. We had long gotten our federal refund last year. It had been about a month and a half, and I got a letter from the state saying they were reviewing my deductions that I took and wanted documentation. And I sent them about 66 pages of information. I emailed them all to the department, and the next day, I logged into my state DTC account and MTC account, MassTax Connect, and the hold was lifted and the refund was issued. I don't mess around. But we're in one of those quick categories where, because I have a W-2 job, Caitlin has a W-2 job, and I work like 4 other self-employment things, I have a lot of things I submit every year, which puts me and puts us at a higher risk of being reviewed. Just because the more things you're filing, the more likely you are for them to think that you might have made a mistake. That's why documentation is key. Yeah, Katrina, that is crazy fast for Massachusetts. Ugh. I guess Massachusetts got their stuff together this year. Which is actually surprising because they had all those, the payments and stuff they sent out this past year. A lot of states did the, like the inflation relief payments and stuff like that. Massachusetts had a couple different... We got 2 different payments from the state this year. I got the employee... whatever it was. They wanted the one they gave for people that worked through the pandemic. We got that for that one. And then also some pittance of a $24 inflation relief, whatever you want to call it. They made this big deal of it over the summer that everyone was going to be getting some of their tax money back that they paid into taxes for 2021. And we got $24. Waves of tragedy. I live in Massachusetts, got my return, but the IRS was flagged and faxed them everything they needed for income verification last month. Still up, no updates. Yeah, the problem is when they do the income verification, they're also waiting for the sources of that income to send them stuff too. So unfortunately, I was talking about that earlier. You're at the mercy of another party sending them information for verification. But you never know. Maybe it was done. I mean, you sent your stuff in. Maybe they got the other stuff this week, or they'll get it next week, and then this update that occurs tonight, maybe you'll see an update. We're gonna think positive, right? Think positive. Hopefully, people will see those 846s and see those 571s with the 570s removed. Well, they don't get removed; they just get the 571 release code, but. That 570 will stay on that transcript forever. But hopefully you see that 571 after it. Katrina, I don't pay state tax, but I get a refund because of the senior circuit breaker. Probably why I got it fast. That could be it. Yeah, nothing else for them to really verify against, I guess. Oh. I'm just going to go back to the comments here, see if I missed anybody. I think we've done a good job of keeping up with everyone tonight.
We just got two more comments on the bottom, or three more. Tanner Connor.
Well, first, Chucho's back. Hey, Chucho, how you doing? Wife filed February 21st, got a refund the following week. That's cool. So if your transcript is not updated yet, it just has not posted to the system yet for processing. And so in that case, I talked about this actually at the very beginning of the stream. Sometimes the system catches something before it posts your return to the system to be processed. So it flags the return for whatever reason before it's posted, and it kicks it over to the errors department immediately. So it's being reviewed for whatever reason, in your case, the income verification. So it just got kicked over before your return posted to the system. So once they complete that income verification review, then they'll send it back into the system, then it will post, and the transcript would be updated. So, did I miss a comment, honey? I'm sorry.
Tanner Connor said, what if it's a negative amount next to my 570 code?
Yeah, so the negative amount, I mean, usually, let me pull up a transcript here, and I keep one to show and talk about, hold on. Where did I put it? I always have my yeah, because usually it's like a zero because it's just a refund hold, but I'm assuming if there's a dollar amount, that is the amount that they are, because I'm looking at my examples here. It's usually a zero while it's in review. But if there's a dollar amount, that's the amount that they're probably looking at. So if I would actually, this might have happened to me before. The year my deductions were reviewed by the IRS. There could be something you deducted, Tanner, and they're looking at that amount. In other words, there's an amount that you deducted that would affect your refund by a certain amount, and that's the amount that they're looking at to determine if that was properly claimed. I'm not going to say that's an absolutely positive thing, but I think based on my own personal experience, that's what that there's a specific amount of money that they're looking at and reviewing. Probably related to a credit or deduction that you claimed. That's why that negative amount is there. Because typically if it was something like an ID verification, or they just wanted to verify your income through like the employer, or like even if there was like an offset, they would put that on a different line. But if there is an actual dollar amount, like a negative dollar amount, and that specifically that amount is being reviewed for some reason. We got a $5 super sticker from Chucho. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Waves wants to know what happens if the IRS has to correct the original amount I was supposed to get will they send a letter for the changed amount? Yes. So what will happen is they will, if it's a simple fix. In other words, if let's just say what you reported versus what the employer reported was two different things. If it affects the refund beyond a certain amount, or if it affects the amount of tax you owe by a certain amount, they may actually ask you for more information to verify. If it's a simple amount or something they can fix on their own end, they will make the correction, adjust the refund, send you what they determined by their math to be the correct refund, and then they would issue a letter saying your refund was adjusted and this is why, based on such and such information. And the IRS has what's called a safe harbor rule, and it's but with amounts that are affected by $100 or less. So typically, if anything was adjusted, it needed to be adjusted by $100 or less, the IRS can adjust it themselves. If it's over that, typically they will ask the taxpayer to do something on their end to make the correction. But this is also why I always tell people, if you know you made a mistake on your return and the IRS doesn't catch it, let them process the return and then file the amendment. If the IRS reaches out to you and requests that you file an amendment, that's when you would do it. But you should never file anything like that before the IRS asks you to, because you don't want to slow down the process any more than it's already going to get slowed down. And that's directly from the IRS too. They tell you not to file that stuff until after the return has either been processed or they contact you requesting the information. Chucho, how's our child? Yes, our youngest son was sick last week. Was part of the reason why we didn't do the live stream. And he's much better this week. Still a little sick, but not like he was last week.
No, he's doing well.
He's feeling well enough to give us some lip every now and then.
Oh, he's a good boy.
You're welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. We appreciate those of you that stick around and hang out with us. Yeah, hopefully I didn't confuse anyone on some of those answers. Sometimes I respond to questions on the streams and I'm like, oh, I should have. I stopped looking at where's my refund because at this point, I'm just waiting for them to fix the issue, whenever that is going to be. That is a good strategy to have. I think most people know how I feel about the where's my refund tool, about constantly checking the where's my refund tool. People drive themselves nuts over it. And yeah. I feel so strongly about it. I feel so strongly about it that I even made the most important video that anyone would ever see on it. Do people still not understand the dangers of checking the Where's My Refund page multiple times a day? Okay. This is your brain. This is the IRS Where's My Refund portal. This is your brain checking the IRS refund portal 8 times a day. Any questions? Yeah, I think that the IRS, I'm on a mission to hashtag abolish where's my refund. Yep, I think they should get rid of it. Because here's why. The IRS every year faces literally millions of calls from people panicking over their returns, specifically the people that check their Where's My Refund every day, and they see the slightest change on Where's My Refund that's not an update of bars saying your refund was processed. Maybe the bars go away. They see a tax topic and they freak out. So then now they're calling the IRS customer support line, and they're clogging up the lines. And the IRS is complaining that, hey, why are these people freaking out? You know, we tell them blah, 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 blah. So, but they don't. I mean, they think they give all this information on Where's My Refund, but they don't, because it's never the most up-to-date information. As I've always said, and will always say, the most up-to-date information on your tax account will be found on your transcript. So, if there's nothing on your transcript telling you what's going on, that means there's nothing going on at the moment. You know, it's processing, it's reviewed, it's whatever. But until anything is updated on that transcript, nothing has happened to your account. So the transcript tells you more than the Where's My Refund tool does. And the Where's My Refund tool always updates after the transcript would. And they should just maybe even get rid of both systems. Well, I shouldn't say that, because people need those transcripts for other reasons too. They can use their transcripts for like college loans to verify income. If they don't have an old copy of their returns, they can use them for, I mean, you log into the transcript tool and you see the reasons why people would pull them, because you have to give a reason why you want it. But for sure they should get rid of Where's My Refund. It's the biggest headache for the IRS. It's the biggest headache for the people that use it, that check it a gazillion times a day when it only updates once every day. And even at that, for the weekly people, it's not going to update on any day but Saturday. So they should just get rid of it and have a system that does real-time information. And it basically should give the person specific information to what's going on with their tax account. And I'll take that to my grave. I'll always feel that way until they do something to fix that system. All right, Corey. Corey's been a viewer that I've been communicating with for the past couple of weeks, been dealing with some stuff. So let's see what he has to say tonight. They keep giving me different answers. This is why I tell people you can't always trust what the reps say, because some will say anything to get you off the phone. Anyway. Okay. They keep giving me different answers. They said I'm out of the errors, and they fixed the errors, and I'll have the refund in 2 to 3 weeks. Then they said Monday that I'm still in errors. They said if I don't receive the refund or letter in 10 weeks to call back. Oh, boy. And then another person says it's still in processing. Well, I'll tell you what, Corey. I'm gonna guess that the person that, I mean, I'm not gonna promise you anything, but there has to be some reason that the first person said you were out of that you were out of the IRS department. It seems weird to me that they would say, "Oh, your return is out of the IRS department," and it completed. The review was complete. I don't understand why they would say that to someone if it really wasn't complete. I can understand the ones that say it's still processing, because that's like the generic statement they make to just about everybody. But if you had someone that was actually nice enough to go a little bit deeper for you and look to see if it was in errors and if it was actually completed out of errors, there's a good chance it's probably actually out of the errors department. Which, if that's the case, if it was out of the errors department in time, you would see either an update on tomorrow's update with the transcripts or next Friday's. If the second person was being honest and said that it was still in errors, then depending on what it's in errors for, maybe you would see the update next week or the following week after that. So, I mean, it's probably a matter of waiting whether you're going to see an update this week or next week or the following 2 to 3 weeks after that. But, as I said, you can't always trust what most of the reps are saying. And I'm not faulting the reps. They get a specific line that they're told basically to tell people that there's only so much, because there is only so much information they're allowed to give, I should say, at a certain point. And then the longer that time frame goes on, they can give a little bit more information, particularly if someone is in review for some reason. But every now and then you get someone that is going to be straight up and honest with you, and we're going to hope that that first person was that person. Waves of tragedy at this point. They flagged my return. It is what it is. Nothing I can do except what I've done already and what they wanted me to do. That's honestly the best way you can look at that. It's out of your hands at that point. Once you've done what's been requested of you, it's out of your hands. And yeah, I mean that's the best you can do. It's all up to them. Tanner, you just gained a new subscriber, bud. Keep rocking out. Thank you very much. Chucho's late to the party with estate taxes. We already talked about that earlier. Every state's a little bit different. It really just depends on the state. And quite honestly, it can depend on your tax situation, how long it could take. They told me to wait 6 to 8 weeks for my return to be fixed and approved. Yeah, for the verification. That sounds like a pretty fair timeline of what I would expect them to say. Doesn't necessarily it would take that long. It doesn't mean it necessarily would take that long, but it could. I mean, just prepare yourself for it. I think you got the right frame of mind, though. The way you're approaching it, that you've done what you can do. It's out of your control. Chucho wants to know if we're getting more money. Or is that fake news? He keeps hearing that we'll get more money. That would be fake news. If you were to ask any politician or person that works in one of these agencies or whatever, or economist, COVID's over. The pandemic's over. There's no need. No need. We don't need to give anybody more money. The economy's great. Ignore that inflation. That's no big deal. Doesn't matter that you're paying, 3 times as much for a carton of eggs than you were, this time last year. Don't pay attention to that. Nobody needs more money. No, we're good. Of course, that's what they think. $7 for eggs. I wish I could find eggs that were $7 at this point. I think I paid $7.99 for the store brand. So I know in Massachusetts it's a little bit less about, for eggs specifically. We passed a law last year that by January 1st of this year, every chicken in the state had to be cage-free. And all the farms in Massachusetts that didn't have cage-free chickens were up in arms saying you're going to jack the price of eggs up on everybody because a lot of us can't do this much work to make adjustments to our processing in that short of a time. And sure enough, the law took effect, and it felt like overnight eggs went from like $2.99 a carton to $8 a carton. We had like, I think it was something like 40% of our chicken farms actually close. Chicopee, Mass. Chicopee, Mass. We could all just raise our own chickens, I suppose. But we got coyotes all over here, so. How you doing over there, Caitlin?
Good. Just tired.
How's Bunny?
Depressed looking, I don't know. Live, Laugh, Love has a question. Do you see that?
I did not see that.
Does O5 Transcript update all day on Fridays?
Let me look for that. There we go. Yes, so transcripts will start updating around midnight tonight, Eastern Time. And they will continue to update all day Friday, with most updates being completed at some point in the afternoon. So roughly between 3 to 5 p.m. is when the last updates start hitting. But most of the updates, the bulk of the updates, get done in the morning, but there are trickle updates throughout the rest of the day. And the reason for the updates on transcripts, why they go throughout the day as opposed to like something like Where's My Refund, which only updates at one point, is because the Where's My Refund is a one-time, they shut the system down for like 15 minutes and update all the records for those that got refunds processed. And then the system comes back up and all those people would see their Where's My Refund update. With the transcript system, what they're doing is they're transferring information from thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of returns in a day. And that takes time. And it's basically in the order that those actions on those transcripts was completed. So even transcripts of people that didn't have their returns done, if there was any sort of update at all to their account, that transcript's being updated. So literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of transcripts are getting updated in the system of everything that was done on that prior day. And that takes like all day for them to do. Hopefully tonight, there will be a very, very, very big update for a lot of people that have been waiting. If you guys want to know, those of you that tuned in a little bit later, you can go back to the beginning of the video at some point or on the rebroadcast. I did talk about why I was away for a couple of weeks beyond just our son being sick. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up a little early tonight, everybody. I just wanted to hop on, give everyone the rundown of what had been going on, answer the few questions that we got in. I'm glad we were able to do that and hopefully help a few people out. Hopefully some of you guys that have been waiting will see the update. I hope the IRS doesn't keep everyone waiting that much longer, especially for some of these holds that I'm seeing. I will say it might appear to the onlookers that there's a lot of holds this year, but compared to last year there was a lot more holds that I saw. So hopefully you guys will see the update overnight, wake up tomorrow, and you will have that glorious 846 code. And if you don't, I'll still be here. And of course, any updates, if I have time over the next few days, if I see anything new pop up, I will obviously make a video about that. I don't think I'll be live streaming tomorrow night for the Where's My Refund. I think tonight was the one stream I'm going to do for this week. And next week I'll do another live stream. It will either be next Thursday night or Friday night. I haven't decided yet we'll figure that out. I'll talk to Caitlin about it, and we'll make a decision on which night we want to do it. Until then, I hope you all have a great night. I hope you have a great week. If you feel it overwhelmed at any point, take a deep breath. Just know you've done everything you can do. That's what I've been telling myself. And we'll all get through this together. Good night, everybody.